and we'll wait for it to show up on here. Can you disconnect from the Wi-Fi, please? Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
And once the stream loads up, what did you set your mic to, Bob?
I think it's at like 5.
That's probably safe.
5 or 6. It's in between.
We'll find out here in a second once.
Coming down with Bender and Bender.
I believe the stream is running, so I'll get us going here. Okay. Welcome back to the Tailosive Talks podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your co-host, Andrew Erickson. I am also joined with my amazing wife, Louise Erickson. And today, our first guest since the new season, we are joined by my good old best friend from childhood, Ross Clark. How's it going?
It's going rather well.
Good, good. Well, I'm very excited to be chatting with you because you're not back in town for long. You're in for how long?
5 days?
5 more days?
5 more days. And you're in the Air Force. I can say that, right?
Yes.
That's not secret,
Yes.
I think. You're in the Air Force, and long-term viewers of the Tailosive Network will remember who Ross is because we were kind of, how do you call it? The OG Tailosive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before Tailosive was a thing, it was me and you making movies where we shoot each other. That was most of the content back then. Some people may not know him, but regardless, thank you for coming on. I appreciate
welcome.
Happy to meet you.
it. Yeah, I think we met. I brought this up the other day because
It was
we were
quite
back
romantic.
No, we brought this up the other day because I was at my parents' house and I was like, we met on that floor when you were a month old because our mothers were friends before we were born. This was 21 years ago now.
Wow.
And
It was a prenatal friendship.
That's weird.
that is weird. But yeah, we just had dinner and now we just like, okay, well, Ross is in town.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get him in a couple things.
Got to take advantage of the situation.
Right, exactly.
Leverage.
Now,
So
I
tell
don't
us a little
know-
bit about yourself.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Give us like what you would put on your dating profile.
If you were to make a dating profile, what would it say?
Yeah, Ross Clark.
Single, white, likes to ride bikes, likes to make videos and loves fixing things.
That's true.
That is
You're good
true.
at fixing things.
I break just as much, but they don't know that because I fix it.
Now, a lot of people, you might not know this. I don't know if I've told you yet. A lot of people actually in our Discord, as Louise is rocking the Discord partner hoodie.
I stole it from him already.
You love that thing, don't you?
It's so warm and comfortable.
It's very cozy. But a lot of people in the Discord have brought up that they found Tailosive Airsoft,
Oh my.
What's
which
that?
was Ross's kind of one side project we did one time when we were growing up. Do you remember making the logo for that and everything? With
Yes.
all the guns.
Yeah, that
on
was
the
great.
A?
That's great. I actually still have all that footage. It's on my computer.
Really?
Yeah. I have all the OG footage.
Wow. I think there were some episodes that we never completed. And
they're all
uploaded?
done, but I don't think we released some of them.
Okay. Well, you did a lot of the editing for those back then, and there's a ton of people that like just suddenly found that channel, and now they've been asking me like, "When's that coming back?" And I'm like, "I don't think soon." But
I would happily do that, but down
Yeah.
in Vegas, they don't have many places to do that.
Mhm.
Over in California, there's a ton, but I'm a bit out of the loop now. I can't have all my stuff in my dorms because it's not allowed.
Oh, that's right. So you left that at home?
Yeah, it's all.
You didn't
it's
pack
all at
any of
home.
that? Okay, I got
So
you.
what exactly do you do on this airsoft channel? You just shoot cans
We
and
shoot
stuff?
each other. It's all like POV or whatever, so you can run
Okay,
around and
so it's like adventure.
gun cams or whatnot. Yeah.
Okay.
Each person has a camera or whatever, so you get to
Mhm.
see what everyone does with their own, how they go about shooting each other. But
Hmm.
it's quite interesting. If it
That's cool. I've
Plays
never
out.
shot any type of gun.
it kind of hurts, but not bad.
Yeah,
I
I'd
got
imagine.
lit
Yeah,
up
you get lit of it. It's
several
feel good.
times.
What does that mean?
Just obliterated by other guys. The one thing, like, I enjoyed playing with you, but the one thing that was getting tiring was
The running and screaming.
well, not so much that, because whenever I played with you and your brother, it would be like a snipe off. You guys just wanted to find a spot and then stay there. I was always like, I wasn't good at that. I always just wanted to run around and
Right.
shoot. So, but they were really good at their scopes and their
Yeah.
dialing things in and
Climb a
monitoring the
tree.
drops. So
Get
they would pick a spot and hide, and I was always about running around. So then I would just get shot. I was like, come on. But it was fun.
Mhm.
So
We
don't
needed a space that was bigger, and there
That's
were
true.
some, but we really didn't ever go. There was one spot. It's like 4 or 5 times the size. We never filmed. I don't think anything.
No,
there.
I don't think we did.
I have the footage on my computer, but it's like before we started playing on our property or whatnot. But
Was that the one by the middle school?
yeah,
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
shot, for those people who have watched like all the Saturday shorts, there was a short there we shot called Spy versus Spy, I think, where me and Dan are 2 spies and we find each other, and then using signals we communicate, and there's like subtitles. And we're just like, this is cool, isn't it? And I think that's where we actually played. But
yeah.
any of the guns you see in those old videos are basically all yours. That's where we got most of our weaponry. But we got a super chat from Brad G. Thank you very much. Didn't ask anything, but
Thank you,
I
Brad.
appreciate it. So Louise wanted to do something different this Tuesday, which we kind of
Yeah.
haven't done in a while. But we can mix it up a little bit, obviously, because Ross is here. We wanted to do sort of
An
Q&A.
audience special.
audience special. So we're not coming into this stream with a bunch of topics planned, other than, of course, things that may just naturally come up with Ross. But if you guys have any questions or requests for us to bring up, we'll happily go with them, even if they're not super chats. So feel free to just write that in the chat, and we'll try to keep up as quick as we can. Obviously, we might not be able to answer all of them, but Andrew says, Tailosive Nerf thoughts.
What does that mean?
You had Nerf growing up, didn't you? You had some Nerf.
I mean, it was like the knockoff stuff or whatever, but it didn't matter.
Wait, there's a knockoff?
It's like
Nerfs?
it's like yellow and green. I forget the brand name.
Oh,
but
okay.
China.
Chintzy, yeah. It was they were a little more
A brand
ghetto,
called
but
China.
I remember growing up in your house with the Nerf guns that you'd shoot at the window, and you'd try to get them to stick.
try and hit flies and stuff with them. It's quite effective, actually. We got used to them.
You are by far the oldest friend I have in regards to like how far back we go.
Rachel is my oldest friend.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and so much that there's a ton of movie references that in the old days, like me and Ross would communicate almost purely in school with one another just through TV and movie.
You just look at
And
each
you
other.
still
and
do.
you're like,
Yes,
I feel like half of your conversation is just unintelligible. I don't understand anything you guys say to each other.
right. No, it gets uncontrollable. But one of my goals was any reference Ross makes on the podcast, I want to explain. So he just said, Rachel is my oldest friend, which
What
is
does
from
that
Dark
mean?
Knight. So that's the first one. It's just random bits and pieces from movies. We just watched Dark Knight, but I doubt you remember that.
No, I
line.
don't.
Because we will grab any tiny bit of a movie. It doesn't have to be a significant moment. It'll just be some line. They said it once, so now we reference it consistently. What are the chats asking, hon?
Okay, Danny asks, would you ever buy a Tesla? Go.
Obviously, I
You.
want to.
no,
Okay,
Why
why
not?
not?
I'm in Nevada, not California.
So you can have a Tesla anywhere.
Yeah, I know you can, but I don't want them to.
Okay,
You
that's
why
fine.
don't you want a Tesla though? I want to know the reason.
It's expensive.
I mean that, and if you want to like resell it or whatever, I wouldn't be the person to really resell it, but
Mhm.
No, I wouldn't resell it.
I heard that if you wanted any work done on it, it has to be done by a Tesla certified technician.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're on the East Coast, good luck, buddy. But I mean, in Vegas, I guess it'd be fine because you're only like 6 hours
Right.
or so.
Wow. So you're like, I need the option to work on it or fix it.
Oh yeah, that's too because I'm living low right now, so
Oh, okay.
I do try and fix most of my own car problems if they do occur.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's
Well,
good.
it makes sense on gas cars, but I just
Works
feel like
on mice too.
yeah,
On mice?
that's a Mouse Hunt reference.
It's a flea bomb.
Which Caesar, played by Christopher Watkins, says he's the mouse exterminator, and he has a flea bomb in his arsenal, and he says works on mice too. So that's what he's referencing.
Wow. So obscure.
We got it.
Okay. Ben Close has a comment. He says, I just finished The Office last week. A great emotional ending, but overall I disliked season 9. What are your thoughts? Maybe on like The Office in general.
I understand why people didn't like season 9 as much, because it's very different from the rest of the show, And I think Parks and Rec and Office both had the same problem in their last season. They kind of get too focused on, this is the end, this is the last season. So they start doing weird things that they never do. And season 9 of The Office started getting into more of a, oh, this is like what a workplace is like, and got more into, what are these wacky characters doing this week? And it felt a little bit more Friends-ish, I guess, which is just like people
Sitcom-y.
hanging out.
Right.
Whereas The Office, when it starts, it's supposed to be like, oh, that's what working in an office is like. There's that annoying guy, and at the end they're just kind of chilling and hanging out. But I don't care.
They don't do any real work.
I still think it was good. There was a lot of great season 9 scenes, but
Good.
Did you have any thoughts?
No, Bob. That's bad. I haven't seen The Office.
that's
Okay.
an Incredibles
No
reference.
worries.
That's Chaos Theory.
Okay, Nick and Sweeney asks.
Wait. My keyboard.
Can I go into the next question?
My kitchen.
I'm trying. I think I lost my keyboard.
Uh-oh.
I need to cut.
I need her alive.
Hold on.
I don't think you know that one.
Sorry. Go ahead. Say the next question, hon.
Connected. Nick and Sweeney asks, Ross, do you still have that iMac?
Which one?
I think they're referencing the 5K
any
iMac.
iMac.
Yes, I still use it pretty much every day.
Nice.
And how's
you
it
brought
holding
that
up?
with you?
Good.
military?
Yes, it's in my dorm right now.
Oh, gotcha. So that one you can't really work on, though.
I can put more RAM in it. I haven't yet, but I'm about to.
Oh, really? You're gonna
Yes,
after all
yes,
these
yes.
years?
It's like it's finally relevant. I still have 8 gigs, and I can put it up to 24 or whatever.
Have you ever had problems with that crashing though on anything?
Not because of anything it did. I was trying to put Windows 7 on there when the Mac
God.
OS was like, "You're gonna have to do Windows 8 or 10." I'm like, "I'm gonna make it Windows 7," and I got it to work.
So you
And then
absolutely.
when I turned it off, my hard drive, the file mapping or the file system got it got messed up. So all my stuff was there, but it didn't have the roadmap to it on the hard
Okay.
drive. So when I turned it back on, it's like, there's nothing there. I'm like, oh gosh.
So
Well,
you
I lost all my stuff,
absolutely
which is oopsie.
will not use Windows 8 or 10. Like if you can.
I might
avoid it.
use Windows 10, but
Oh.
that's not because of I like it. I just, if I had like an Xbox or something, I don't have a TV, so I need something to stream it to my iMac so I could use it as a display.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just lazy. But there's actually an app. It's like $25. I think it's like Xstream or something like that, and it allows you to stream from your Xbox to your TV, which will be really weird or your iMac, because
Mm-hmm.
there's no screen plugged into your Xbox, and you'd be playing it or whatever. So it's like there's nothing plugged in. You're streaming it from
Oh. that's
Wi-Fi
weird.
or whatever. It's just like
Yeah.
goofy. It's like, where's your monitor? It's like it's not actually plugged in. Whoa.
That's kind of
Interesting.
weird. Huh. Okay. Well, I hope that works. What's our next question, hon?
Where do you guys see YouTube in the next 5 years?
On the internet.
Yes, probably there still.
Well said. Probably still there. YouTube in the next 5 years. That's an interesting question. I bet we're going to run into a bunch more problems, mostly because of the people running YouTube, because they usually cause all these problems. They have weird, more recently, there was a problem where if the comments of your video are not family friendly enough, they will take down the whole video.
What?
Which
The
is-
comments?
Yeah,
How can they control that, though? That's not...
exactly. That's why everyone was like,
The
this
creator's
is stupid.
problem.
There was some kind of I won't go too far into
Toxic
it. But it was
warlords.
Yeah, there were toxic people on videos that weren't family friendly that were showing how not family friendly they were in the comments. You guys watching may know what I'm talking about. But they saw that, and a bunch of advertisers started pulling out their ads from YouTube because of the comments. So YouTube in response said, "Okay, any video with bad enough comments will just get demonetized."
Wow.
And people's response to that was basically, so you're saying if I'm a powerful enough troll, I can shut down anyone's livelihood just by sending a bunch of people to a certain person's video with comments that are bad. They don't really know what they're doing. So I'm just anticipating there's going to be a bunch more problems. I already hate YouTube Studio Beta, what are they calling it? The new dashboard for creators it's missing legit 60% of the features we use. We got to put end cards on videos now, the little annotations, or add more monetization. They remove all of them.
Be more needy.
What's that a reference of? I don't know that one.
It's VGHS. Ted, you're eating a burger? Be more needy.
Be more needy. VGHS was Rocket Jump's internet series, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Freddie Huang.
Do you remember season 3?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I remember
I only
hating,
watched it once or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
just like, whoa.
I remember hating the end. Didn't it end
Just
with
like,
like everyone just giving up?
Crane shots out or whatever. It's just like, here's the window. Oh, they're still friends.
And they're like, oh, I guess nothing worked out, and then they pan out. It's like, come on, guys.
It was
Anyway.
like super weird. And the first season, they had the guys roll up on like the rainbow wheeled bike and then like, float away. It's like, where did this get here? And then like it gets more realistic as it goes along, and it's like, well, wait, where did all this wacky stuff go? And they had like a ball that would like float around and stuff, and it's just like not. They didn't. It was like they didn't explain any of it. It's just like weird stuff in there.
There's just very weird stuff on VGHS. Ben remembers it in the chat, but
kind of the Kung Pao vibes where they just put random like animated stuff in there. It's like, what is the purpose of this stuff? It's just weird.
It's a gaming show, so that means there has to be futuristic hovercraft. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was bizarre.
I did love the robot and all that stuff. That was
yeah.
Shot bot.
Oh, with his
he just like hops out a window and flies away.
Sometimes we still reference that when the guy's like, "Come back in my car," and then he starts throwing trash at him. It's like, "Hang on, I kind of live in here." We still say that sometimes when our car is messy. But anyway, what's next? What else we got?
Does Ross have any channels he'd like to publicize?
Oh yeah.
No. I mean, if you want to watch some guy ride around in the desert on his bike, then yeah, you can.
What is it called?
It's just Ross Clark, I want to say.
Ross Clark.
There's probably a bunch. But
it's the one with the cheeky bugger.
videos.
It's my graduation photo, actually, from high school. As my channel.
Well, there you have it. You guys can check out his biker videos, which are cool. I've watched them.
Adventures in Las Vegas.
Biker.
Oh yeah,
trying to up the quality. I'm working on the audio right now, but.
So we used to buy like the cheapest GoPro possible back in the airsoft days. We were like, how many cheap GoPros can we get? And now you get the latest GoPro every.
I don't have the 7, but I have.
Oh, okay.
I have like I had 2 5s and a 6, and then I did something to one of my 5s. I updated it.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I didn't have the right card or whatever, and something wasn't right. And I just kept going in a loop for like 80 cycles. I'm like, this thing's not doing anything. So I pull out the card, and it's like, that was it. I put it back in, and it didn't do anything. It didn't turn on or try to do it again. It was dead. And then
shoot.
And then I pulled out the battery, and it shut off, and it never turned back on.
Yeah.
Sorry, it wouldn't charge, wouldn't do anything. It was just brick.
How many GoPros have you and your brother gone through over the years?
Let's see, Jeff's had
Probably a ton.
2
Uh-huh.
of Hero 2s. We have a Hero 5. Got Wyatt's Hero 3 Plus.
Oh, that's right.
That thing died as well.
Huh. That's right. Wyatt got a Hero 3 once.
Never had a 4. Eddie had a 4, but
that we used the Hero 4 to record Volunteer Cop.
Yes.
I remember that.
You
That was
do?
great.
Thank you. I'm glad.
All the shots of you like running, training.
We got so many copyright claims out of those.
Really?
that doesn't matter. It's half the fun.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, let's see who fights over this and gets the money from the revenue.
Right.
What's that reference?
It's Red Letter Media.
Oh.
They like.
Oh wait, what?
They throw it up and they let the.
See, even you didn't get that. Wow. And
No,
you
I
watched.
didn't.
There's so much content. It's just some random thing. It wasn't like a
That's
big
true.
moment. There's just like, oh yeah, we threw up as much as we could on here. We'll just let the ad revenue people figure it out because they had so many like copyrighted
that's
claims.
right.
They just
Like, because RLM has to deal with all the RLM is a movie review YouTube channel, Red Letter Media, and they have to deal with so many copyright claims because they put all these footage from movies in their videos, and then once you have too many, they can't figure out who gets the claim of the video because it's like, well, that's my content. And
For one video.
And then
There'd be like multiple.
and then a different studio's like, well, that's my content, and a different studio's like, no, it's my content, and no one can figure out.
So then
it's
it's no one's content.
Right. Well, some of PewDiePie's subscribers had a good idea that he has a TV behind him when he films his videos.
Mm-hmm.
They said you should put, because his wife has a YouTube channel. He's like, you should put your wife's videos playing in the background and then claim it yourself. Then no one else can claim it because he's like, hey, that's my You can Marcia, his wife, can be like, that's my content, and then claim his video, and then they get the money from.
there you go.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
It's like, why not do that?
That's genius.
I don't know if anyone's ever tried that, but they should. I think that would be worth it. Luckily, I'm in the tech genre, so I'm not having to worry too much about copyright claims, which is nice.
Just erase the logo.
Yeah, even that they don't care. But at this point, I haven't had many problems with copyright claims that would affect my livelihood. So
my
I'm very
livelihood
fortunate.
in my home.
In my home. That's Mouse Hunt.
That's Mouse Hunt.
Yes.
That's Chaos Theory.
Right. Okay, what's next, hon?
What's next, Sam?
Do you guys watch Jessica Jones?
Did you ever watch that?
Who's that?
It's a Netflix
No.
show.
No.
I watched a lot of Daredevil with you in the room, I think. Do you remember that?
Sam Fisk or something, whatever the guy's name is.
Wilson Fisk.
He's melling somebody in some car door. I'm like, oh, this is really escalated.
What was the situation? Were you editing something while I was watching Netflix?
Probably some wedding thing or event we did, or the Axiom, I forget. But you're chilling out, and I must have been editing something. You were like hanging out.
I think so, because I
watching
don't
videos.
remember. I don't remember you watching it with me. I remember you.
I remember
being in the room.
hearing it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I looked over, the guy's getting his melon dome pieced in the door. I'm like, what is going on?
So Jessica Jones is a different show that takes place in that same universe. And I watched season 1, and I thought it was pretty good, but mostly because of the villain, and the villain died at the end, so I didn't really watch season 2. And now Netflix just canceled it, so I'm not. I haven't caught up with it. But anywho, what else we got, hon?
Yeah.
You guys need to ask more questions. We can talk about something that's on our list if you want. I'm
Okay.
not seeing too many questions.
Oh
on here.
wow, you guys need to be more interesting.
Be more needy.
Well, it's like 9:30 and I'm about to pass out.
I'm sorry, hon.
It's okay.
Do you think Apple needs to step up their game because of what Samsung has done? This I might be interested to talk with
Yes.
Ross about because I think it's pretty stupid, and he's not like into the tech stuff as much as I am. I mean, a different side of technology. Not
Do
that
I look stupid? Yes.
Bugs Life.
Yeah,
Bugs Life. Kevin Spacey's Bugs Life. Rip. Whoa. Uh-oh. But
Rip and Winkle.
let's think. So Samsung released a foldable smartphone a couple days ago.
Weren't they already?
Well, if you tried hard
Yeah,
enough.
if you tried hard enough.
They were foldable.
Any phone is foldable.
But this is intentionally foldable, and what it does is it's like a
Book.
4.7-inch screen when used in phone mode, but it looks like one of those remotes you have for your massage chairs. Like, it's enormous. It's got this big chin and this big forehead, big black bezels all over around it, and the screen's tiny. But then you can open it up into a 7.3-inch tablet, and it's got a giant notch in the top right corner cut out for the cameras, and it's $2,000.
2600, right?
That's the Mate X. The Samsung Fold is
2000.
1980 to be specific, but I just say 2000 because it's tax and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to round up, but that means they have to have plastic on the inside because, as you know, glass doesn't.
Oh, it's plastic.
It's plastic, so you gotta spend $2,000 on something made of plastic, and
Well, this will hurt your mind. Carbon fiber is plastic, so.
ooh.
Ooh.
So maybe it's
Good
strong.
move.
You say?
No.
No.
Is that what they're using? Carbon
Opposed to
fiber?
glass. Well, I don't think so. I think they're using some type of, they call it like a glass plastic nylon polymer.
Aeroelastic polymer.
That's Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico sells some plastic.
John Grease.
Yeah, John Grease, who was in Lost.
Ben's dad.
He did much more. Yeah.
He
Anyway.
died.
Anyway, do you think foldable phones is a good idea
No.
in general? Why not?
No. I mean, part of the whole phone thing is like, oh, you could buy a camera or you could buy a whatever. But
Mhm.
if you just have a phone, the whole point is it's convenient.
Yeah.
Like, I could run around with my camera and take photos all day and they look amazing. But if I have my phone right there, there's no need to, because you just pull it out, whip it out,
Mhm.
use it, put it back. It's
Mhm.
low profile. It doesn't take up your whole pant leg, like the whole thigh length.
Right.
The whole point is it's supposed to be small enough that you always have it. It's always available. So it's the whole convenience thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, didn't they try to make it convenient by having it be foldable? It's like if you wanted,
I think
if you
that-
wanted to carry your tablet, it's like just
right? But
carry your
you
tablet.
can fold
Yeah.
it in half.
They're
So it's
saying now
not
like
beside
you
a
can
tablet.
store a tablet in your pocket.
Right.
But do you remember? I was gonna
I
reference.
think you had like when you had your iPad Mini or whatever, you still could fit it in your pocket. And it was like goofy.
I don't think it was the mini.
wasn't
That's
m-
the funny thing.
Oh,
I
it
had an
wasn't meant to
iPad
do
Air that you had really baggy shorts when we went
Oh,
to high
yeah,
school.
yeah. It wasn't
And you would
meant to
show
do
off
that.
how you can.
You fit.
They just
an-
You could fit an iPad Air in his.
Wide.
That's crazy.
Super goofy.
Ross could
Dude.
fit the
You had,
whole
like, one
iPad
fat
in
leg.
his pocket.
Yeah, they had that the Bose SoundLink Mini or whatever. We could fit that in our pockets just because
that's
pockets
right.
are always bigger. When those first came out, people were like, "Oh, where's all the sound coming from?" Because it wasn't a thing yet. It was like one of the first like bassy ones that came out.
No, like I swear I invented that trend. I
What?
know
It just
everyone
kinda
does it now,
happens.
but
Wearing.
bringing portable Bluetooth speakers with you. I promise you, before I bought that SoundLink Mini, no one did that. I
Really?
swear.
I've seen people do that.
Now they have
before
in
I
like
met you.
your backpacks. and
Usually
stuff.
they're
Well, I did
tweakers
this
in my
before I
town.
met you.
This is like
But-
in sophomore or junior year of high school, so like 20, I don't know what, 15, 14, 15.
15 or 14, we bought the SoundLink Mini, and I put it in my backpack, and I would put it in my pocket, and usually Ross and I would hang out. We'd walk around together.
They when they were
And-
designing these, they got so caught up with whether or not they could, they never stopped to think they should.
That's my whole message with the foldable is they're like, it folds, but there's legit, like on camera, you can see the crease down the middle.
Yeah.
Like it's already
It already starting to
there's
warp.
already a crease and a warp on the display.
So
because
another thing with that, what if you get like one half of it caught? This might not happen, but
Okay.
if you get one half of it caught, and then say for some reason like it's in some drawer or whatever, and then you close the drawer, like you might have your screen tear if it's got some foldable joint. And like there's a
You mean
stress
that's
point
a-
there because your
that's a
phone
weak point of the
it's
device.
one solid piece.
yeah,
Like you put a weak point in there, it's not going to be, I guess, as strong. Like
Durable.
if you have like wire, whatever things they have the
Like the straw design.
they're not straws. They're like the flat fettuccine looking wire things on the inside, with all the lines going
Oh.
through them.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
have those that cross the screen and you bend those enough, you get fatigue.
Yeah.
It would have to be like a couple, probably like 10,000 or 100,000 cycles of you doing that.
You'll
But
get
So that's
there.
like 2
Eventually-
years. 2 years of using it.
I don't know.
Probably.
Like depending on how much you'd open it, it might fatigue or
Mhm.
it's just usually when you have moving parts, it's bad. Anything that moves
Yeah.
is prone to break.
interesting.
That's why your whole phone is like solid state. I guess
They try to have as least moving parts as possible. That's
Right.
why
Because that makes it more likely.
phones move to a solid state home button
Mhm.
instead of the click ones.
yes, you don't have to worry about like buttons, like springs
Popping out.
going out. Like even
Yeah.
some people on the sides of their phones, the spring will go out. You won't have any more like button. It'll still work,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you won't feel a feedback from it.
Right, right.
Any kind of spring where it heats up and cools down, like if you leave it in your car, you put it back in your pocket,
Mhm.
it does that enough. It'll actually change the spring,
Huh.
but it has to be done
Okay.
a couple, probably 100 or 1,000 times for it to change.
Right. Well, my whole concern is that if the demo units they're bringing out on stage, I can already see imperfections. Like,
Your perfection, your imperfection. I'm so
see,
sorry.
I said that's a reference to Inception when he's talking to Maul, but I didn't think that was where you were going to take it. I said imperfection. I thought you were going to go the Jeff Goldblum route in Jurassic Park, where he said imperfections in the
Tiny,
skin.
imperfection is
I thought you
Poison
were going
man.
to take it that way, but you didn't. Thank you.
see,
Um,
but it felt the other way. But, no.
He loves Jeff Goldblum. We both love Jeff
Ah,
Goldblum.
mm.
and
Mhm.
He's just such a weird dude.
You weird dude.
That's a Holes reference with Shia
Wait.
LaBeouf.
Jeff Goldblum was in Holes.
No.
No, but we talking about Jeff Goldblum said he's a weird dude, which is a reference to a line said in Holes
About Zero.
about Zero.
Yeah.
We always thought whenever I watched Holes that Zero was like exactly how Ross
I'm
acted.
just missing
Really?
the heavy tan and
Just really
afro
quiet.
curls.
Ross with an afro is Zero. If you ever
That's
watched
funny.
Holes, like that's what Ross would act like.
Mm.
Was there more questions we should address? Did you ever find a good one?
We know where you live.
Want Ross to host meme
Address.
review? That would
Someone
be good.
asked,
Oh gosh.
how do you think of
I
so
would-
many movie references so quickly?
That's a good question.
I
How do
actually
you stay on top of this?
It's just in his brain at all
it just
times.
sticks around. It's kind of funky when I'm around my brother and Drew. Like if we text or
Mhm.
talk or anything, it just kind of comes up. You'll be sitting there and you'll be like, "Oh, there's one." Like
Mhm.
I have this folder for all my pictures. I just got my camera up and going,
Okay, good.
and I have it all organized. And
Mhm.
my place where I export all my finished work, it's called Imports Jeeves.
Ports
and
Jeeps?
every-
I don't know that one.
Of course you do.
I don't.
You must. You
Imports
must.
Jeeps?
Show them the Imports Jeeves. Oh, you
Oh,
gotta
come
be
on.
kidding me.
I don't know this one.
Oh no.
I don't know.
So okay.
Put a put a whiteboard here.
So when
I don't
Kay
know
brings
this one.
Jade, and he's like, well, "We got to identify the weapon."
Oh, Men in Black. Okay, got it. That was tough. I didn't remember that. I haven't
My-
seen Men in Black in forever.
I've never
That's
seen
right,
it.
because
Ever?
I watched it a ton with my brother, not so much you, because you were like, "Oh."
I
They
remember
they
watching
started
it with
releasing the third one, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I need to watch these other ones." Like I think we watched the first one, but the second one you hadn't seen. You're like, you saw the third one, I think, before you saw the second one.
Yeah, the second one's just weird. I mean, the first one's weird, but it was good. And then the third one was okay.
Which
was
is interesting
fine.
why the first one was really good, because like when they filmed it, all the organization on it was like a disaster. Like they had to remake and reorganize the whole film or whatever.
Yeah, that's usually when movies do well.
That's
It's
like,
when
this is suck. This is gold. It's like, what did you do? It's like, we don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Some guy said I was ignoring him, so I'm going back and
Okay.
reading his questions.
What
He
is
said,
me?
"Is Apple doomed? And is the iPhone XS Max 512 gigabyte worth buying in 2019? Or do you think that's overkill?"
If you have
These
the
are
money.
most generic
and you don't
questions I've
care.
ever heard
Yeah.
in my life.
I actually have a guy in my shop who bought one, which is also really funny because
The 512?
yeah, the flagship, the top end.
Wow.
You know how much it is?
Isn't it like $1,200 or something?
15.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness.
Ooh,
That's like half your car.
What do you think, Ross?
I
That's
think
that's
smoke
gonna
'em if
be
you got
my
'em.
rule with tech questions.
What?
If they ask them on the Talks podcast,
What are you going to
Then-
do now?
either of you have to answer them. I
there you
can't
go.
answer
Okay.
it. So what do you think, Ross? Is 1,500 worth it?
Yeah, if you want it.
Yeah, if you have the money for
You
it.
just solved the entire
that's-
worth problem.
Is it worth it?
Worth is such
anytime
a
someone-
personal thing.
Exactly. I always say on my channel, worth is subjective. If there's a guy who makes $100,000 a year and wants a new phone with lots of storage, yes. If you're in debt and you make,
$2 an hour.
$200 a month, then no, it's not worth it.
You can't
Right.
always have nice things. That's why they're nice. They're hard to get.
It's
They
just-
usually work better.
It's just funny when people act like that's somehow universal. Like something can be universally not worth it. I just try to tell people why a product's bad, even if it is $2,000. It's like the Galaxy Fold's like, yeah, but you can buy an iPhone and a tablet for less money and get a better experience. So it's not subjectivity to like it's bad because it's expensive. It's just think of the end user experience and then can you get that elsewhere?
Mm-hmm.
If you
For
can,
cheaper.
for cheaper, it's overpriced. If you
Right.
can't, it's not. It's overpriced.
It kind of goes back to the whole quality thing, because if you have, say you have two tools, one is cheap, it still does the same thing that a nice one does, but the nice one has better tolerances. It'll probably last longer and work better. The other one still does the same job, and it probably
Right.
does it to the same quality,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the ease of use. It's like it does the same thing, but it's nicer,
Right.
Mhm.
and that nice, it's like
You're paying
you can
for the
you
longevity
can feel the
of
quality,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's
But
it's just that's what you're paying for, even though it does the same thing. It's sound of mind or peace of mind.
yeah. But if the higher quality one is like 20 times as expensive and you know you're only going to maybe replace the cheaper one like 3 times, then I'd say it's worth to get
Well, yeah, it's
the cheaper one.
it is a matter of personal
Mm.
worth.
Yes, of course.
I mean,
What do you think? Is Apple doomed?
no,
Why not?
they've been around. They've been since the 80s.
That's true. And they're
Suddenly, everybody starts hating iPhones because it's the most like purchased smartphone or whatever, most used. Because literally,
I think by individual sales model, it's got to be one of them up there because there's more Androids sold, but there's also thousands of Androids. So
Yeah.
it's like all of Android versus iOS, but iOS is coming out on 3 phones a year, whereas
One company versus many.
Android phones literally come out every other day.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had 3 foldables this week, and they all suck.
3.
it was kind of weird. I had like a whole like homogenous ecosystem thing happen in my shop because
Oh yeah.
we were all texting each other, and I don't have cell in my dorms or whatnot because
Oh,
it's just
okay.
like a Faraday cage in there. But
Yeah.
there's like people who text green or whatever. They're like different, not
Androids.
iOS or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So like somebody texted me and I didn't get their message and they were all mad. It's like, why are you mad? It's like, you didn't text me back. It's like, I didn't have service. And they're like, it was weird because they lived in the same dorm. So it's like, why did you know this?
There's just bad
But-
service there.
In my shop, I just assumed it was weird. I'd been in it so long, like a couple months, I didn't even notice. But everybody that I work with has an iPhone,
So
except for
they're
maybe
using
like
iMessage.
2 or 3 people. So it's all blue.
Wi-Fi.
So it's all Wi-Fi. So it doesn't matter if it's like cellular blocked or whatnot
Right.
because in our shop we don't have
That guy sounds like a
cellular.
bad friend. Anyways.
That's a really
That was the credit card man or whatever I was telling you
Oh,
about.
like,
It's just
why are you friends with him?
why is this?
He sounds
he's like,
awful.
oh, he thought I was slamming him or whatever. I'm like, oh, you're not an iPhone user, and he thought I was slamming him.
Yeah.
It's like that's where you take this immediately. Is like
Wow.
because I didn't text you back, and he said, oh, I thought you had an iPhone, or most people in my shop have iPhones. He thought immediately came on as like an elitist guy or whatever. It's like, that wasn't what I was getting at. He's like getting all butthurt, and it's like, what?
Oh,
What?
jeez.
No, you're not that at all.
It was weird. I'm like, bro, it's
No.
not. That's not how this works.
Well, a lot of people, I think, underappreciate that because usually if you bring up like, well, the iMessage thing is really convenient for people, especially in that situation. It's like, I have bad service, but as long as there's Wi-Fi, that's particularly helpful for people who fly a lot because you can't have cell service on a plane, but you can have Wi-Fi. So you can text while you're flying. And a lot of people are just like, well, the only reason people like iPhones is just iMessage. It's and they look at it as like it's just texting, so it's not a big deal. It's not like camera performance or CPU speed, which iPhones win in, by the way. But at the same time, it's like phones do lots of different things for lots of different people, but primarily communication's a big one.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing that almost everyone buys a phone for. Whereas you can't say the same with like, I like to root my Android and I like to modify my home screen and I like putting apps at the bottom and Apple restricts me to not being able to run apps
the
that
average
aren't on the
person
App
doesn't
Store.
care about that. They're
It's
just
like,
like I want
okay,
to use
those
it.
are-
It doesn't really matter what it is as long as it
Right.
works. And
Those
it
are
works.
specific use cases things, but texting is a big one. So the company that gets texting right first, the company that releases the phone with the most seamless, easy to use texting app, they're gonna do well because they thought through it. Unlike Google, who has like 80 different messaging apps that they all design themselves.
Well, there are third-party apps that can be used on any phone. Like,
Yeah.
I actually use Messenger more than iMessage.
I know,
even though I have
and
an iPhone.
and I fought you on that.
I know.
I want you to use iMessage.
Anyways, shall we do a quick run through? There's a bunch of
Oh,
questions.
sure.
So
Got
let's
some
do
good ones.
like 10-second answers, okay?
Oh, okay.
Hey, Drew, what do you think about Flaming Hot Doritos?
Never tried them.
Okay, pizza time?
Yeah.
We actually had pizza for dinner.
Pizza time. Back on
Pizza
my
time.
pizzas.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2.
Cool.
Ben Close says, what's your favorite fast food?
McDonald's. I know that's
Harvey, I don't have an answer.
Dark Knight.
I got that one too.
Good. I don't have an answer.
Let's be real.
So you really don't? You don't like
You're
fast
like,
food?
you know what Ross is like? He's like a Bumblebee in Transformers. Like he doesn't have a voice, but he just
yeah.
grabs random like radio quotes
There you go.
from
There
the
it
internet.
is. Well,
Ross
there it is.
just has this Jeff Goldblum Jurassic Park. He's just got this endless supply of audio clips in his brain that he can just grab from randomly. It's great.
Mine's In and Out.
It's like poetry. so it doesn't
Stranger
matter.
Things season 3 thoughts.
I want it to be good because I did not like season 2 at all.
What? You seemed to enjoy it when we were watching it.
You were asleep half. I was.
Don't call me out.
I've watched season 2 twice through, and after the second time through, I decided that
You don't like it?
They had no idea what they were doing, and I love season 1. I passionately love season 1 of Stranger Things. So season 3 is their chance of redemption.
I liked it.
You like season?
I
2?
mean, I'm kind of a casual movie watcher. As long as it's like it doesn't do anything really stupid or like irksome. He did something irksome, so I decided to remove his spine.
Well, that's good. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Like, it's to your benefit. A lot of people like get uppity when someone likes something. It's like, I mean,
Whatever.
I wish I could have that mindset towards it because ultimately I would have had a better experience if I enjoyed the show. So I envy you, but because of my stupid brain, like thinking about.
I mean, I still hammer it, but it's like
Yeah.
you can either take it as you want or you can watch it. It's like it doesn't ask anything from you. You're watching it. It's not like you have to like it. It's just no.
I want.
You could just.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I want a certain amount of intelligence and thought put into characters and screenplay. And when it's not fulfilled, it's like, but that's a defect now because of the way I think about TV shows, I'm not enjoying them as much, which kind of sucks. Yeah. Oh, well.
I enjoy TV
Oh,
shows
well.
because I don't think too much. I don't have many high expectations.
It's kind of like the whole fine wine thing. If you go more in depth, sometimes it's better. And then when you get down the line, it's like, it starts blurring the line between fast food and fine cuisine. It's like, you can enjoy it for like a quick bite or you can try and savor it. But if you try and
Yeah.
savor it and you get it wrong, then it's like, it
Yeah.
doesn't good at all.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Someone else asked, is that an iPad in your pants or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah.
In regards to the
Whoa.
iPad question
Oh
earlier.
yeah, you just walk around
Or,
with a giant
yeah.
slap. Didn't she use an iPad as
Oh yes,
body
in
armor?
my
Body armor,
airsofting
what?
rig, I had a plate carrier for a while, which is like what you put armor plates in or whatnot. And I got it from my brother, and he had the armor plates still. I wasn't in the military yet, so I couldn't own them. But I needed something to fill the space because it's supposed to be rigid, and if you get bend in it, all your gear starts to like bend, and it's not supposed to do that. So I took old iPad 2s. I had two of them. I had my grandmother's and my mother's, which still worked. But I put one in the front and one in the back, so it would be rigid, as it was supposed to be. And that's what I ran around
That's
and
why you
played
have
airsoft
such good
with.
posture.
So you had iPads as you're making us all
Whoa.
look
I know,
like
someone
slouch.
asked why you're so stiff.
I'm so tall that if I slouch, it just doesn't look right.
No, I mean, it looks fine, but I always, when people would when we'd reference you in videos and stuff, we'd always be like, "How does Ross sit?" And I would instantly just perfect posture, like backbone is perfection.
They some of the officers that run around on my base, like, they got it. And they got the what is it, ramrod straight posture.
Wow.
It's like they go to sleep on a wooden bed. It's just I guess just training, but like
a chiropractor would be really proud of you.
Oh yeah.
He would look at you and be like,
I guess
That
that's
got
what
it.
separates the men from the boys. Boys being the enlisted folks, but yeah.
I've got
All
a
good.
curve on both ends. This way and this way.
No, honey.
Oh well.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Have you guys watched Avatar: The Last Airbender? Have you also seen Legend of Korra?
I think we tried watching.
I've watched M.
Last
Night
Airbender.
Shyamalan's Last Airbender.
Yeah,
No,
I
you guys
remember
need to see
hearing
the
some of
cartoon version. It's much better.
Yeah, I believe you.
I watched,
I've
like-
heard great things about the cartoon.
I only watched like one episode of the cartoon version. And it was where they had like the big old mushroom cloud in the desert.
Ooh.
They're like trying to find the arrow forehead guy, the main guy. I forget his name.
Did you
Aang.
enjoy it?
Angst.
He
Little
is
more.
the last Airbender.
A little more.
Angst.
I call it. We used to call him the last windbreaker.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. But no, I didn't watch the show. But I've heard great things about it. I'm sure it's good. I just don't have the time.
Someone asked if I started my new job yet. No, I haven't. I'll start it on March
You mean
11th.
unemployment? Yeah.
Yes, my new job of not having a job.
It's
That
wonderful.
sounds fun.
All
That's
you
what I
people
have.
pay for me. I mean,
Perfection.
technically all you pay for me because I'm off your tax dollars. But I still pay
Yay!
taxes, so
Oh.
yeah, Social Security is
So
one. but
you pay you.
yes,
Mm.
they.
You're paying
I
for your own.
That's like
I
when
take your
became a
money
YouTube
and
member
I
of my
pay
own
myself.
What?
channel. I became a YouTube member of Tailosive Gaming.
What does that even mean? YouTube member? Like you
Yeah.
subscribe to yourself?
Mm-hmm. I wanted the T next to my name to be blue.
Oh
And
my
the
goodness.
only way to do that is to be a YouTube member. So
Yeah.
I did it just so I would show up as Tailosive Tech with a blue T,
Oh wow.
like as a badge. But anyway.
Okay, this one's a long question, kind
Okay.
of. Ben Close says, "Okay, guys, I'm thinking of getting a new laptop. Do you think it's more important to have a 3.5 gigahertz quad-core i7 processor with 8 gigabytes of RAM, or a 2.4 gigahertz dual-core i5 with 32 gigabytes of RAM?" Do you need the
Ditch the
options
RAM.
again?
It's a tech question. So.
Ditch the RAM. If you're going to be editing, you might want it. But in like games, like
You're the one who I think had the best metaphor for RAM.
You taught me what
RAM
RAM
is,
meant.
RAM is a workstation. It's like
It's your desk.
Yes. So if you're going to be
I
like
still use this example during live streams.
if you're going to be batch processing like 400 photos that are all like raw, I've actually tried this on
Okay.
my iMac, and I was using the Automator app
Yeah.
or whatever on it's in the utilities of
Mhm.
what is it, OS X or whatever,
Yes.
and I didn't realize it at the time when I first started using it because I was new to it. But when you use it and you say do this, if you have like 400 files selected, it tries putting all of that into RAM, which is like 300 gigs, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in your like 8 gigs, and it's my computer was
Right.
doing nothing, and it was like fully ramped. I'm like, what's going on? It was like 30 minutes later. I'm like,
Yikes.
I'm shutting you down.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out later that you can. There's actually a way you can have it. It'll incrementally. You have to get it offline. It's like a little plugin, but if you're doing batch processing,
Mm-hmm.
you put it in and it'll take it one at a time. It'll feed it from the folder, go process it, and then exit out. And the file that it puts out, it replaces the old one, and then it takes the next file in sequence, so it doesn't just dump it all in your RAM. But if you're going to be editing too, like I noticed a little bit of a difference between like file size. I have my GoPro at like 4K or whatever,
Yeah.
and that trying to edit that on my iMac with only 8 megs of RAM or whatever, or 8 gigs of
Gigs,
RAM.
yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Between editors, I was trying to use Final Cut, and it wasn't liking it.
Okay.
Because I'm not all the way updated. I have like, what, 1.12 or something like that.
Oh, okay. Older version. Gotcha.
I remember you doing it on your laptop, which is like not quite as much, but I guess it's all solid state and it's all Yahoo. But
Yeah, when you have an SSD, it's like...
it was like... It seemed like it was really weird. And then I switched back to Premiere Pro, and it worked
really?
better because like you can scale the footage when you're playing it back. It doesn't have to be like it's full or it's not. That's how Final Cut was. And that was one of the deciding factors in me on which one to get. I got Premiere Pro because I could throttle the playback. And that was allowed me to actually watch my footage when I would play through it. Because before I would have to just edit it without really watching it because it would play for like half a second and then would stop and try and catch up, but it never could. I bet if I had more RAM, it would allow it when it like pre-buffers. It would allow you to watch a longer segment. Because I have 8, which is like the minimum.
You'd say RAM is more important than
No, less important.
Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Oh,
If you can manage without that, or you can find a way around it.
Well, I was going to say the metaphor you always used for what RAM is, because I think a lot of people don't realize what RAM does. And you probably explained it the best. What is in regards to your workstation, what does RAM represent?
RAM is your workbench. It's how much you can work on at one time.
It's the size of the desk.
So
whereas what is the processor?
Processor is you. It's how fast you go.
It's how fast you go. So you can go really fast with a small desk. It might.
Are you riding this desk?
Hmm?
You can go really fast with a desk.
You can also
that's
think
just
of it
funny
like
sentence.
So you can go really fast with a small desk, is what I said.
Yeah.
Like
But I'm
you
saying
don't
desks
need a ton
move.
of RAM.
Like, it depends on what you're working on. Like
if you're
working on
like
like little bits, it won't. It doesn't matter. Like if you're doing just little bits of stuff, it doesn't matter. But say, oh, I'm gonna work on this massive project. You're trying to work on it all at once. All this crap open, then of course it's not gonna work. You don't have enough workspace. The stuff's gonna start falling off. And when it falls off, it goes into your hard drive, and your computer gets really slow because it's trying to use your hard drive as RAM. It'll put it on there, process it, take it back, and it tries to do it. That's why my computer was all locked up when I was like batch processing those files. It was trying to put it in RAM, and then it overflowed. It went into the hard drive and says I can't, and it keeps it's doing it. It's just gonna take forever because the RAM is like blazing fast compared to your hard drive, because your hard drive is like 600 megs a second or whatever. Like or gigs or whatever it is.
The Mac Mini we're streaming on right now has 8 gigs of RAM, and it's processing all 3 angles and our microphones and turning that into a video, uploading it, and I'm not even hearing the fans on it. Like it's not even cooking because it's got 6 cores in their 8th generation. So the processor is the power intensive stuff, but the fact that it has 8 gigs of RAM, that doesn't matter because it's not doing. It was one task, you know. Anywho.
Okay, next question. Thoughts about Beats collectors? I don't know what that means.
Don't care.
That sounds rather radish.
Okay, Beats like Beats. Did you see that Everything Apple Pro's video with TechSmart? He finally did a collaboration with someone.
Yeah, I don't think. See, Everything Apple Pro has never done a collab ever. And then the one time he does it, it's with TechSmart, who I'm not fond of, for clickbaity and just being kind of overall stupid sometimes. He was like, stupid? We're gonna make this. I heard a red iPhone's coming out, so we're gonna make this iPhone red, and then he spray painted it like without masking out the camera or the screen or anything. He just painted a perfectly good iPhone red, and I was
that's some Texrax territory.
Yeah, I was, and then at the same time he was like. In thumbnails being like, Tim Cook gave me the next iPhone early, like clickbaiting people. So I personally, and the guy wears like Gucci and stuff. So I personally think that the reason that collab happened was because he agreed to a certain price. Oh. Because Everything Apple Pro likes money. And he probably said, hey, let's do a collab. I'll give you $10,000 or something like that. And then he was like, okay, sure. I bet that's what it was. I'm speculating.
$10,000? I bet it was more like 100.
Could be. I'm just saying these guys have too much in common. Like they both got a ton of cash and they blow it on things and they do drop tests and they wear all these fancy clothes.
Everything Apple Pro has a house that he built, so it's not really blowing it.
Out of all TechRax,
but
iPhones.
He buys a ton of expensive stuff.
Yeah. Well, he can afford it.
And he bought them what he called Louis Vuitton
AirPods
or something. TechSmart bought
that
him
exists.
So he was like, they're like $1,000, and he was like, he bought these for me, thank you. And it's like, he's never collabed before, and with all channels to collab with, he collabs with that guy. Like, I don't know. It seems fishy.
Yeah.
It
Paid off.
seems a little fishy. So I
Leave
think
the
they
world of
paid
the
him.
saving to the men? I don't think so.
Incredibles.
I don't think so.
Elastigirl.
Okay, Sup Hey says, is Ross a gamer?
Somewhat. I used to be.
Used to game a lot.
And then what happened
What
was I joined the
games?
military, and then the Wi-Fi in the dorms is atrocious.
That's probably a good thing, though. They keep people from
I used to be
gaming
like
too
good
much.
at CS:GO. I was like halfway through the ranks or whatever, and now I'm at the bottom.
Yeah, you
There's
used
only
to
one way
play
to go.
CS:GO like
Yeah, I got
non-stop.
1,600 hours and something.
Oh god,
On what?
CS:GO.
I just remember I'd come over.
If
and
you
that's all would
multiply
be
that by
doing.
10, that's 16 grand. That's what I could have been making if I was actually working.
Oof.
It's just like I got to about
Yikes.
1,300 hours. I'm like, this probably shouldn't be what I spend most of my time doing. So it's like,
Wow.
if you're actually outside making money, you know.
And that's all on your Mac.
16,000.
Yeah, that was all on my iMac,
Gamer.
which before I had it on Wyatt's computer.
That's
I
right.
which ran actually better on there than it does on my iMac. But it gets
Well,
to a
it's
point where
PC.
you only, like with that, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, the graphics are better. It helps you play better. Because it does, but it gets to a point where it's just like, you're not there. It doesn't matter for you. You're just casual.
So
I
do you
remember-
regret
No.
playing that many times? Okay, cool.
I remember
I'd rather have it there
Editing.
than somewhere else.
editing Tailosive gaming videos of you playing Counter-Strike Go. We did
Wow.
that for a while. Those are all private now,
I don't
thankfully.
remember.
But also, another channel that we lost access to, but you and I did together, was AR Boss Minecraft. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
well, yes, I do.
You-
I was there.
Did we play in the same room?
Yes, we were actually, the computers were side by side. It was your mother's laptop, your MacBook Pro, and your iMac. I think it
Wow.
was the
That is the
white
gamer
one.
setup. Your mom's MacBook Pro.
Yeah. Hey guys, we live in the basement. It's just the attic.
Didn't we have one microphone? for
Yes,
the
it was
both of
one
us?
for the both of us. It was a Logitech, like the boom thing or whatever. And like I knocked it once. You're like, hey, don't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean this?
You were doing that before the stream started too. You always loved messing with
It's just the
microphone.
peaked out.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
You'd love to look at the little what do you call it? The level,
Yeah, the peak level.
the peak level. You'd look at the mic and we'd be in the middle of playing the game, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna build this house. And yeah, then he would move over and go, he moved right there, and he would knock the mic, and I'd be like, Ross, careful with the mic. So then he would like slap it more, like in spite of me.
That's
It
like
was
that one
hilarious.
bun.
There's a lot of references in there too. They're probably some of the same stuff, but it's
So if you want to watch Minecraft videos, just me and Ross, they're still up. AR, which is Andrew and Ross, Boss Minecraft, and I lost access to the channel because we made a
it's a
password
combat Carl.
and I don't know what it is.
Oh
So,
wow.
What year was this?
This
Or
is
years.
middle school or whatever, right?
oh, this was last year.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Jeez.
No, this was middle school. Yeah.
Our
But we
lives are in your hands, and you have.
I'm trying to remember our series. It was called Dual Survival. Didn't like we played like 3 episodes in the regular Minecraft world, and then when we went to the Nether, like the next 7 episodes were just us dying in the Nether, trying to get out.
I remember
And
this.
then you were like harvesting blazes by just sitting next to a spawner nonstop and clicking with the
just-
sword.
The audio is nothing but clicking for like 30 minutes, an hour. I forget how
Oh,
long it
God.
was, but it's just
There's like just the last 4 episodes of the series are just you spamming the mouse button, and you can hear it in the background. Just you did that for a good 40 minutes or something. Anyway, sorry, that's enough Minecraft talk.
No, never enough.
I wasted my life.
He's a gamer though. I saw a question about
So it would seem.
Meme review?
well, there was meme review, but there was also a repairability because Ross is kind of a
Oh yes,
fix 'em up guy.
in my so my laptop I got it for coding when I was going to college, and it worked wonderfully for that. And I still have it. I actually brought it back with me.
Good.
But the it was the last MacBook Pro model that you could open up and change everything in. It was like 2012 or whatever.
Yeah, we have that model as well at home.
Mine?
Yeah, that's
It's 2009.
That was like one of the before they swapped over. So it used to be like Mac.
so what's the difference between the 9 and the 12?
I think just
3
the
years.
insides is all. Really?
Physically, though. Sorry, thank you. That was great.
Physically, I don't know.
Physically, I
Great
think
body.
they look the same.
Great
Yeah,
body.
It's the same aluminum.
The dead body.
Men in Black. Got it.
Where's she gonna be hanging out? Where's she hanging out with all the
so
people?
tell us about the upgrades in the MacBook Pro.
So
you got.
the guy, I got it from eBay, believe it or not.
Whoa.
I forget where I got it from.
Nice.
It was
How
like
much?
Maine or something. It was, I think, 1,200 or 1,300.
What year did you buy it?
I bought it like 2016 or something like that.
Wait, you bought the 2012 in
Yes.
2016? Okay.
My
But it
brother
was
had a
internally upgraded.
2010 or
Right.
2011 or something like that. And I'm like, I like his. Give me one of those.
Yeah.
That's when I come across something, people are like, oh, those are great. Yeah, these are working. Like, you actually get to hold it and feel it. I'm way more likely to actually go out and get that compared to anything else because it's like, oh, this works. So it works for you. Yeah, okay, let's go to that. Like, personal, pure recommendations.
Right.
Like, but compared to that,
Word
over
of
like
mouth.
an ad, it's like, ooh, this is great. It's like, you're not giving me the honest truth. Some guy that goes, hey, this is great. I use it every day or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you know them, it makes it even more.
You're
You're more
promoting
likely.
YouTubers. That's what we do.
So
We
anyway,
recommend or don't recommend things.
with the inside of the MacBook Pro, they took out the disk drive and they put in this little hard drive caddy, and I have a terabyte hard drive in there. So I
Wow.
got 2 terabytes,
That's
and
good.
they upgraded the RAM, so I got 16 gigs,
Wow.
and then I think the processor is like a 2.5 gigahertz i7 or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
And then the
That's
battery, they replaced the battery as well, and they didn't change the smart board or the motherboard or whatever.
Okay.
'Cause there'd be no computer left. But
Yeah. You don't need to. But they upgraded basically everything you could.
everything you could, and you
Wow.
can still change the battery. So if it goes kaput, you just get a
And your battery's fine?
yeah, it's fine.
Good.
I mean, for what I do on it, it'll last like maybe 4 hours. It's not like great, but I don't use it all that much. I need it
For
like
a
photos and
2012.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was really just what I use it for now is like when I go places on trips, I'll just dump all my SD cards or whatever from filming stuff onto there because it's got so much space, and then I can add it on there if I want to. Because I was editing the what you call them when we used to do the Axiom videos or whatever. I actually was doing that when I was in Cannon at Austin's house. So like in New Mexico, I took one out there for a week and I was editing that stuff, and it worked. I was using
Good.
Final Cut at the time,
Good.
but it does what I need, so there's no point to buy another one.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, how do you feel about, because someone was asking, like, do you think phones should be repairable by, like, the user?
It depends on how much you pay for them. And I mean, current trends, it's like the way you get an iPhone, you take it into the store. Yeah, it's broken. Can I get a new battery? No, here's a new one. Okay.
So
you
wait,
could-
what do you mean, like, by how much you pay? Like, the more you pay, it should be more repairable, or the opposite?
Well, yes. So like if you pay a lot for a car, the idea is you're probably going to have it for a while, but it depends on like your tier. Because like if you say, oh, I'm going to go around and get a BMW, it's going to be sweet. Like, you know what you're buying. It's
Yeah.
nice. It works very well. And if there's problems with it, you're not going to go poking around in it because it's this high-end performance thing.
Sure.
But it depends. Like, there's the super rich. Like, when you get into that, it's like you probably won't be the one working on it yourself.
Because you're paying top dollar, it shouldn't
Yeah,
need
but like,
repairs
say
for a
like
long
you get
time.
like a $30,000 car, like you might want to change some stuff in there, and then there's like the bottom end where you probably want to, but at that point it's so cheap, you might as well just throw it away and get another one.
Okay.
Kind of like you get a $2,000 car, you don't like it's worth more to fix it than it is to buy a new one. Is like, is it really worth the effort?
Yeah, right. So you would say, in regards to phone repairability, like,
The issue with electronics too, there's actually a guy on YouTube, I forget his name, but he does like
Okay.
all the soldering. So like say something's bad in a MacBook Pro, like he gets a broken one and he can fix it. It's all like he's using like microscopes.
is it Louis Rossman?
I think so. He's like
Yeah, he doesn't
New
like
York
me.
guys. Yeah. Like I get what he's trying to
He
do,
did a
but
whole
like
video
the
on it.
average
Really?
guy,
Yeah.
At least he knows you.
the
He may
average
not
guy isn't going to
be
go
well
inside
read.
and fix microchips on your board. Like you would replace the whole board, but at that point it's going to be like $400 and the company doesn't even supply the parts. It's like kind of like the Tesla thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you want the parts, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. But I mean, most people I would wager don't want to do that. They'd rather just have a new one. It's
Yeah.
like, why go through the effort when you could just have a new one and it replaces all the scratches and all the whatever bends, dents, whatever you did to it. And your battery's
Good
new.
point.
But
That's true. We do have some super chats.
I mean, I understand if you have the skills, it is immensely
Yeah, yeah,
valuable
yeah.
to replace it because like
Mhm.
you can just buy a busted one for like $200 and it's worth like $2,000
Sure,
after
sure.
you fix it. But
Yeah.
not everyone has everything.
No.
So when I fix my bikes, I have all these tools. They're only like one-use tools.
Okay.
So like it has a very specific job. It only works for this. If you
Mhm.
use it, the tool is very valuable. If you don't have it, it really blows because you have to. There's really no other way to do it. But when you do have it, it is incredibly nice. But to get the tools, because you don't use them all that often, they're typically quality, so they have
Yeah.
to work. So when you need
Right.
them, they're there. They're really like expensive compared to like, oh, I need a screwdriver or a pair of pliers.
Sure, sure.
You pay like $8 for a pair of those. These are like $35-$50. For like, you use it once, great. Best tool I ever bought to use once.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Then there's money going towards things that don't
Like
have
you
long
sit
term.
there and it's like, okay, well, you could be using your product, or you could be paying for the stuff to fix it and have less product.
That's true. Well, what did the super chats say? Huh? What do we got?
Hayden says, keep up the great videos and podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
You're gonna love me. Sorry.
Thank you.
And then Noelle Storm, she said, this is $2. What does you think about Volvo?
I have no opinions on Volvo. Do you have?
Swedish. I know.
You ever had a Volvo?
Wait, don't you
I've
drive a
ridden
Volvo?
No, I drive a Lexus. Blingin'.
Yeah, I've never,
Aren't they
I've never-
really safe? Like one of the
I don't-
safest
They're
cars?
Swedish. They're Swedish made.
Me too.
They make commercial trucks and
Your
stuff
parents
like
are
that, so-
American.
I
American.
thought you were American. Vine.
Yes.
They're either Sweden or Norway. I forget. I think they're Sweden.
They might be, but I've never owned one. I don't really
If
have
I had my
opinions on them.
laptop right now, I would
I
look
can't
it
really
up.
say too much either. I haven't been around too many of them. I've been around one. It's like a station wagon type thing or whatever. The tweets own it.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
tweets have one.
That's
right.
That's about my only experience. And
Yeah.
you can't really judge off of one go around. You got to have like a bunch of different
That's true.
opinions or whatever.
As far as I know, they're good cars.
Yeah.
I know nothing bad. They have no bad reputation in my mind.
It's
so-
not like you get like a year like BMW or Mercedes, where it's like, oh yeah, you got to fix this light bulb. You got to take all the
Yeah,
engine
yeah.
out and get to it.
No.
I haven't heard anything about that about Volvo.
I
So-
heard
No, I
Volvo is
haven't.
like one of the most bought cars by moms
by moms.
because they have really high safety ratings.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, then good for them. Yeah.
Okay, we
Didn't
have
know
a
that.
I would
bunch
say
of questions.
If you're
We're
thinking
like
about
way
it, go
behind.
for it. It's-
Okay.
Can we do speed round?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do
and
some
actually
speed
like
round.
stay within time, guys.
Okay, you
Try.
gotta cut us off though if we keep going.
It's hard.
Okay.
You guys love talking. Where am I? Okay, Nick Antonio says, I'm telling y'all we need to have a Tailosive meme review. Next meme. That wasn't a question, just a comment.
Okay.
Okay.
We do.
Someone asked, Drew got a PewDiePie chair?
You'll stay tuned. tuned.
Ben Close asked, was Ross ever a Nintendo fan?
Oh, I love the N64. I love Super Smash Bros.
Yeah?
I love GoldenEye.
We used to play those together. I remember the original Super Smash Bros. But
Yes.
I never had that much of an attachment to
I
Nintendo. You did though.
Yeah, I played it quite a bit. I had a GameCube before I had the N64.
Oh, that's right.
I forget what happened to that, but I do like Nintendo. At least the old stuff. The Wii, I was like with the Wii, but I think the Switch is great. It's
Really?
I think it's
You
like
the
what,
Switch?
$300 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And you can have, so they have the new Smash Bros. I think it was
Mhm.
one of the stuff that came out. It came out with Mario Kart, and then I think they released Smash Bros. For it. But you can have 8 people on one console.
Wow.
Right.
And a guy would actually do this in our shop. We have a TV or whatever, and at lunch he'd bring it in his backpack, and he'd have all the controllers too. So
He'd
the
have
guys
8
would-
controllers?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So he'd just come in, and we'd all be bashing each other's brains out or whatever at lunch. And it was super fun because it would get loud
Wow.
and rowdy or whatever. But that's the whole point of the Switch is like it's so small. It's like the size of an iPad mini or whatever.
Right.
So like you can fit it anywhere, and like you can use it as a standalone console without actually having to, plug it into a TV. You didn't need a screen, but 8
True.
people, it gets kind of tiny.
It's very
but-
versatile.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
True.
Drew, why are you against iPad mouse support if the pointer is the size of a finger touch? I don't even know what he means.
Because then it's a laptop. Then it's a MacBook at that point. The difference between a laptop and a tablet is one has a dominant interface of a mouse, one has a dominant interface of touch. And iPads are designed specifically, all the apps on them, the pro apps on them, the software, it's all built for touch, for your fingers, and operating systems have to operate very differently when the method of input is touch instead of a mouse. Once you go with mouse, you have to completely rearrange everything. That's why Mac OS is built best for keyboard and mouse. iOS is built best for touch. So as soon as you start mixing the two, you get weird.
When
Now
you
you
mix-
gotta throw around the OS
Hybrids.
to make it more mouse friendly. And now it's got to convert back and forth when it should just be simple, because as soon as you start doing the mouse support, they're going to start having third parties or Apple design apps that need the mouse. So now you have exclusives. You buy a $1,000 iPad and you're like, why can't I use this app? And they're like, well, because you need to buy the mouse. Don't require all these extra accessories. It's like if it comes out of the box, it should be working. Unlike things like the Surface Pro or the Pixel Slate, when you buy those, it's like Wait, you didn't buy the $200 keyboard attachment?
The way your sister put it. When you mix all the colors, you get brown.
So yeah,
Hey, what's wrong with brown?
Merging of two products does not equal good. You know, like that seems to
just
be
like the foldable phone.
like the foldable phone, and most 2-in-1s. People are like, so you like tablets, you like laptops. Let's put them together. That makes it.
It ends up in being
It's weird, mushy. It
one
makes a
weak
okay
product.
Okay laptop and okay tablet. Most of the time, though, no one makes tablets. To them, like, it's a 2-in-1 because it has a touch screen. Therefore, it's a tablet. It's like, but can you use it in tablet mode?
It would be the same thing as like kind of what the Surface does. It's like if you had a MacBook Pro and all of a sudden you wanted to touch the screen, would that change how you use the device and think you should use it? It's like I wouldn't use the touchscreen even if they did have it enabled, because it's like when the Surface, in my very limited use of it, it's like when you go around, you're trying to use a touchscreen, and then all of a sudden you can switch back to desktop. You still know it's a desktop, but you can still touch. It's like it feels wrong. It's like you want to use a keyboard and mouse, but it's a tablet now, and you can't because it's not attached anymore. It's like it doesn't.
Well, and that feels wrong is just because the OS it doesn't know what it's supposed to be. Do I go touch? Do I go keyboard to mouse? That's why I think Windows 10 is such a train wreck. Is it's like arguing with itself over am I a touchscreen? Am I not a touchscreen? But the majority of devices that run Windows 10 aren't even touch. So
Both of them.
right. Anywho,
Right.
do we have more?
Yes. Hey,
Okay,
Ross,
spit.
can you join me in Silver 2?
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm rocking Silver 3. I was like,
What is that?
I was MG4, and then I deranked all the way to.
I still
Silver
don't
2.
know what
It's
you're
the
talking about.
bottom of the ranks.
Of
What ranks? Are we talking?
Military?
CS:GO.
Oh, CSGO. I can't tell. I thought you were talking Air Force of some kind.
It's kind of weird because my internet is so shoddy. Like some of the stuff is actually like it feels like when you're sniping in the game. Like I feel like I've hit them, but the way my internet is, it's so like bipolar. It'll like spike and then go down. It's just the base internet. It's just how it is. But I feel like I'm good enough, but the hardware isn't up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I have a better computer just because the connection is so like it's just like milliseconds. It's so short, but like I feel like I can do way better. It's just not, but it doesn't matter. It's a game. It doesn't make you any money. I'm not streaming.
True.
I couldn't stream even if I wanted to. It's so.
Right.
I'm sorry.
And so what you
That's
had at
the
your old
worst.
house is basically what I have now.
Just nothing. Okay.
Okay. Someone asked, have you tried PUBG after you came back from the military?
I've actually never played PUBG.
It's good. It's terrible.
I watched videos of it of like what is it, albino or whatever, and it's like super like buggy and some stuff. Like they'll be coming down in the parachutes, and they'll just get stuck on some building and like. Just
It is
like,
a very buggy game.
The reason it lives and the devs can get away with it is just because it got so popular and so big. They're like, well, we don't know what we have, and it's just like
It's in beta, so.
So
it's
a
okay.
good example for you is
Yeah,
DayZ.
yeah.
Like the DayZ standalone, it was like, oh, this is great, and the devs are like, oh, alpha access, you can get it now, and it's like everybody gave them all this money. It's like, okay, when's the game gonna be on? We don't actually have any money.
That was fun.
So they'll have games that come out, and it's like when you design stuff, it has to be done from the ground up. So even if it's super buggy, they might be able to fix it, but depending on the groundwork they laid before, they can't go back. Because like it's so far along, if you wanted to redo it, you'd have to make a whole new game basically because the groundwork is already there.
Right.
So when you design this stuff, you're not writing code initially. You're doing like flow charts. How do we want to do this? Make it modular so you can work on it. And then it gets into the argument of like optimization to make it run better. You have to start like cutting corners. It's like it's easier to work on or it runs better. It's like with firmware, it's not like this giant like a computer OS where it's like it's all fabulous and it can do all the things and it's modular. It's easy to work on. You can make all sorts of apps work with it. But with firmware, it's got to be as small as it can be to save your battery life because if it's running through all this stuff, it can't just like brute force all these calculations because it'll run slow and it'll drain the crap out of your battery.
Good point.
Wow, you know
That's
a lot
true.
more about tech than I thought
that's
you
Mr. Powell
did.
for you. He's the one who explained the firmware to me. He's a Microsoft
Oh.
person. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah,
we
you
have
were-
some
you were there,
friends
actually.
at Microsoft.
Yeah, like, stock is doing
You-
great, by the way. Just
you-
it's fabulous. It's bigger.
Uses an iPhone.
Really?
He does, yeah.
Wow. Have you seen Oppo's foldable phone?
I thought about getting one of those just to spite you.
Really?
The Oppo like R7 or R9, whatever it was. I thought, like,
Oh.
what if I got not an iPhone just to spite Drew?
No, I don't
thought
care.
about it.
No, I don't mind.
It's
Louise
like-
used a Pixel for a long time.
Yeah, and I liked it.
Yeah,
Actually.
it was supposed to be like the Oppo was supposed to be like the thinnest phone at some point. Like when
It was for
Yeah.
a time. They removed the headphone jack before anyone.
Wow.
The foldable phone is near identical to the Huawei one. So yes, if
But
you've seen the
thinner?
Huawei one, no.
oh my
They-
god,
It's China versus China companies. So
Right.
everything is just a direct.
And isn't the
clone.
Huawei one a clone of the Samsung one?
No,
You said they were similar?
the Huawei Mate and the Samsung Fold are pretty different, but equally bad.
Right.
have you ever
both
killed
terrible.
anyone? Yes, but they were all bad.
That was True Lies.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger. Yes.
Is that a movie?
Yeah. That's a good movie.
That is-
I've
I
never
haven't
seen a
watched it in
movie
while.
with
It's
Arnold in
great.
it.
Really?
I've watched most. If
Kindergarten
not all of them.
Cop? Isn't
Oh, I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that either.
I went on a rampage with my brother and watched all those, and like we had like the VHSs. That's where we could get them for 50 cents from the thrift
Nice.
store. And we had like 2/3 of all the movies he'd been in.
Oh my god.
And we had like this whole Arnold shrine. It was like 20 movies on the top
Shrine.
shelf. And we
Wow.
had like all the Arnold movies. Give these people air. See you at the party, Lichter.
I just love that someone met him and was like, "You should play a robot because you sound like."
Or they had The Walking Dead. You were explaining The Walking Dead. You're like, oh, you make a great zombie. Well, thanks. It's like, you look so like.
There was
dead,
someone. I was
lanky.
watching some ad that someone was talking about being an extra, like a close-up extra on Walking Dead for a zombie, and someone said that I would do really good at that, and I was like, "That's an insult. How
Right.
dare you?
You look dead. You'd be great.
You'd make a good zombie.
Yeah.
You look dead inside."
I've been
the 9
dead
to 5
inside
is really
for
getting you.
years.
Okay, let's catch up.
Do you guys have a favorite sport? Tennis.
Neither of us
I
growing
like
up were
tennis.
into sports, really.
Mountain biking.
Running?
Mountain biking is a sport.
It is.
Yeah,
Downhill mountain biking is a different sport. XC too, but
Well, we're not into like the professional
No,
stuff,
no.
but we just do. We just
I mean, I
bike
watched
for
some
fun.
of it, but
So biking, yeah,
Yeah.
mountain biking.
I mean, they have like the. I think when I think of road bikers, I think fruitcake because it's like what gets me
Fruitcake.
when people they go to the gym and they have like the cycling machines or whatever.
Yeah.
You're taking all the experience out of riding a bike, and there's no balancing. You
No.
don't look at anything. You look at
No.
the person's booty in front of you. If there's somebody in front of you doing it, you're cycling. You're just pushing along, and you
Yeah.
don't have to balance. You don't have to turn. You don't have to look. You don't have to be aware. You just zone out, and you're pushing pedals. And there's no free
Right.
hub. So if you want to stop, your feet will still keep going with it. You can't like it won't spin back.
Yeah,
Like on a
yeah.
bike. They don't have that in the gym, at
Okay.
least on the ones that I was on. But you don't without the balance and all that, you're losing all the
No.
muscles and all that. that you
Biking
would
biking
use.
on trails is completely
Like-
different set of muscles. You're picking paths. You're
Lines.
looking at where you're going and lines. You want to make sure that you pick the smoothest one you can, and you want to stay on. And that means you're adjusting your shoulders and your arms are going back. And when you go uphill, you have to use a different set of muscles than when you're going down. And it's totally
You're
different.
going down kills your calves when you're over your back seat and you're behind it, and you'll be holding
No,
that.
I-
And if you hold that a long time when you're descending for a long period of time, it'll start to
Right.
cramp up. Oh, demons got me.
Nice.
We got a super chat from Rockford Tech. He says, hi.
Oh.
Hi, Rockford.
Oh,
Hey,
hi,
Rockford,
Mark.
Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate
And then
that.
I think that was it for the questions. So, yes, feel free to talk about what you want to talk
We
about.
just did.
Well, I think we're getting pretty late, so we better wrap things up here.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
we passed
quick.
an hour already.
We
An
did.
hour,
We're,
10
we're
minutes.
past an hour. But anyway, I wanted to thank you, Ross,
Whoa.
for coming on. It's
Whoa.
been fun.
It's been fun. It's been real.
Yeah, we got on all
And you're
sorts
another
of
tech
different
genius.
topics. Yeah,
I wonder who knows
Genius.
more about tech, Drew or you.
probably Ross, but
He-
different kinds.
He
of tech.
knows more about UI than I probably ever will.
You know more about like
The
You know
gears.
about.
Sides.
I am not a tinkerer. I don't take apart things.
You were a
You're an
schemer.
engineer.
You had plans.
Ross is
What was that
excellent
one?
at bikes and obviously air conditioners.
Break
and
things. And I fix things before they know they're broken.
You've worked on computers. You've worked on hard. Oftentimes, when I was growing up and I needed something done on the computer, I'd usually go to you because I'd be like, "How does boot camp work? And how do
I
drivers
think one of the
You and
things
I tried to make a Hackintosh.
didn't work, my friend. They're still broken.
No, we never got it to work.
We didn't have the right hardware. It was, the Hackintosh works with a specific hardware in it, like NVIDIA and all that. Back in the day, I don't know
Right.
how it is now, but the stuff we had,
it's gotten a
in
little
Wyatt's
better,
computer,
but
it wasn't.
yeah.
It was like no.
Right. But he uses my OG iPhone 7 Plus, which I unboxed on my channel. He still has it to this day.
Didn't I use this before?
Nice.
He got
that
it?
camera. There you go.
That one.
Which one did I use?
Not this one, because I sold
Did
this
I have
to
the
Ross.
matte? Did I have the shiny one?
You may have had the jet black one.
Yeah. the jet black one.
This is the matte black one, and I sold it to you at a big discount because I didn't need it, and I was switching to a jet black iPhone 7. But and you've never used a case.
Nope.
Never.
Wow.
No screen projectors either.
And do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, good. So I just thought that would be cool to recoup everyone I know. But thank you all for watching. It's been fun. It's been real, but we got to get to bed. So we're going to sign off for tonight. But anyway, thank you guys for listening or watching.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Shutting up.
Bye.